The signing of the Declaration of Independence. The Gettysburg Address. The Moon Landing. Learn more about the events that shaped America only on Alternative Facts, streaming now on the Untrue History Channel. Live from someplace, somewhere, in some city, in some state, it's KPBC News with your lead anchor, Anchor Cat. Greetings, I'm Anchor Cat, and welcome to the KPBC News broadcast. Here are the stories our monolithic corporate overlords gave us permission to tell you. First up, God issued an apology for what he called a, quote, unfair timing mistake, unquote, that he said led to people getting the wrong impression that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell would die next, instead of beloved comedian and actor Paul Reubens, whose character Pee Wee Herman entertained and delighted audiences both young and old for decades. In a written statement, Larry God Shumway said in hindsight it was not fair of him to do a, quote, dry run on a stroke, unquote, on McConnell, only to take Reubens after a long, unpublicized bout with cancer. Just a couple of days later, God assured the public he was certain his staff knew it was McConnell's turn next, but something got lost in the shuffle, he said. Shumway said it's still okay to pray for McConnell to die because he thinks he's getting to heaven, and God said praying for him to die is praying that he gets what he wants all that much sooner. However, God did not promise that McConnell would in fact be admitted into his afterlife timeshare. Up next, let's head out to Valle Verde, California. Our reporter Hunter S. Tedman has filed this report for us about three friends sharing what cannabis users refer to as fat bong loads. Hunter, fill us in, would you?
It started out like any other night would or could possibly start out in any home, in any town, in any state in this great big nation of ours. A fart contest followed by back-to-back screenings of Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny and The Jerk. But before the fart contest, and before, during, and after each movie screening, the three friends in this story also continuously smoked from what some 420-friendly viewers might recognize as a bong, which, of course, was named after famous inventor Bong Lee, thing you smoke pot out of. And because of their usage of cannabis that night, I'll say something happened they remember quite vividly.
I can remember it really vividly.
Yeah, not just because it was literally not even 4 hours ago.
So, what was it, fellas? An alien encounter?
Nope.
A sudden knock on the door, only to find no one there?
No, not that either.
Well, I'm not really in the guessing game so much as the reporting what people tell me game, guys. So if any of you gents wants to tell me what's the score here?
We ordered pizza, like we always do on movie and fart contest night.
And when it showed up, they had accidentally given us an extra pizza.
Yeah, we called the store and told them what happened, but they just said to keep the extra pie.
So your entire story is that you smoked a lot of pot, had a fart contest, smoked a lot more pot, watched movies, and then ordered pizza and got a free pizza.
No, not exactly. That's not all of it.
What detail did I miss?
Oh, yeah, it was like this. We smoked some pot, then we had a fart contest. Then we smoked a lot more pot and watched some movies. Then we smoked some more pot and ordered pizza. Smoked some more pot while we waited for the pizza to get there. Then we got free pizza, so we smoked some pot to celebrate the free pizza, like you would. Then we ate the pizza, and then we smoked some more pot.
Thank you for helping me keep the record straight.
Next, while the country waits for House Republicans to provide actual evidence of President Joe Biden's crimes, a new report indicates that evidence is being stowed away by GOP operatives to protect it. Reporter Chort Bordelson has the story for us. Chorty.
Anchor Cat, according to a new report in the D.C. Herald-Tribune, House Republican leadership decided to protect their evidence of Joe Biden's crimes by hiding it. I spoke to Representative Tom Toppelson about the situation.
Chort, this is really very easy to understand, okay? Once we had fabricated and or found all the evidence of Biden's crimes that we needed, we knew that we had to hide them so that certain facts or reality couldn't come along and debunk them before we had a chance to convince our voters they were real. So we took our evidence and we hid it in a special warehouse that we own that you cannot see because it doesn't go to school here. So all our evidence right now is in that warehouse underneath Barack Obama's Kenyan birth certificate, Hillary Clinton's personal kill list, her stand-down order from Benghazi, and a letter from George Soros telling President Brandon to remove In God We Trust off our currency. Now, if you'll excuse me, before we blow the lid off this entire conspiracy, Marjorie Taylor Greene and I have a meeting with Mike Lindell's Sasquatch lawyer.
If we ever track down where the warehouse is or get access to the evidence the GOP claims to have in it, we'll file a new report. From here in the nation's capital, I'm Chort Bordelson. Back to you, Anchor Cat.
Thanks, Chortalicious. We'll pause right here for a brief word from our sponsors. We know there are a lot of bars in town, and that you could choose any one of them to whet your whistle. But here, we understand that sometimes you want to drink just a smaller drink. A wee dram, just a couple finger pour. We only serve small drinks here because sometimes just a little nip'll do. So come on into Dick Nips tonight and say hello to bartender owner Richard Boozahall. And remember, it's always happy hour at Dick Nips until we raise our prices at 7 p.m. Hey everybody, Joe Christian Republican here, and I've got 4 reasons why Jesus thinks Donald Trump should not go to jail for trying to steal the 2020 election. Okay, here we go. Number 1, because my feelings will be extremely hurt if my cult leader faces consequences. Number 2, because I understand less about the Bible than I do about the Constitution, which I've never read and never will be able to read because I'm illiterate since my parents did not put me in public indoctrination school. And number 3, because coming up on Putting You in Your Place.
Man, I'm so pissed at my neighbor right now. He came over yesterday at like 11 in the morning asking if he could borrow a cup of pudding.
That sounds like the kind of thing neighbors do, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're being rude or demanding about it, I don't see what the issue is.
I didn't care about that. I had the pudding to spare, so I gave him the pudding.
Oh, so what's the big deal?
The big deal is that when I wanted to get the favor returned yesterday, I asked him to borrow a cup of sugar, and he turned me down.
Okay, yeah, I can see why that might be annoying and frustrating, actually.
Thank you!
What were you gonna make with the sugar?
Nothing. I was gonna fuck it. What?
It's just, I've personally never heard of sugar fucking.
Oh, so it doesn't exist because you've never heard of it. God, you sound just like my neighbor.
I mean, your neighbor might have a point. It's not like he borrowed your pudding so that he could fuck it.
Oh yeah? Is that why I found him balls deep in the pudding when I arrived? Look at these pics I got.
That's okay. We can just put the TV back on. I don't think I'm ready to have the pudding and sugar fucking discussion just yet, Paul.
Fine.
Don't miss the show critics are calling pretty derivative and an obvious ripoff of a concept that was already retooled to do a show once before. It's Most People Tolerate William. It's only on Tuesday nights at 9:30, and it's only on WPC.
Hey, Tommy, you want to go to the park and shoot hoops with me later?
Let me get back to you, William. I better come up with something fast or I'm gonna have to spend time with William, which I guess isn't all that bad compared to some other people who are definitely worse.
Okay, sounds good, Tommy.
This week, I'm on vacation, so filling in on Polly Birdman reports will be KPBC's own Terry Mackerel, and you won't want to miss it. Just don't like Terry's report more than mine because my ex-wives and ex-kids absolutely depend on the money I make from having my very own weekend special report show, okay? Anyway, Sunday at 3 a.m., watch Terry or whatever. Let's check in with Austin Sleet at the weather desk. Austin, any relief in sight from this heat wave that's been punishing most of the country for the last week?
I'm afraid not, Anchor Cat. It seems that overnight, someone threw a lasso over the moon in an attempt to impress his girlfriend.
Austin?
But apparently he overshot the moon and lassoed the sun instead and didn't realize it. So when he pulled on his lasso, he ended up pulling the sun much closer to the planet, and yeah, it's gonna be a hot one out there, folks.
Austin.
Yes, Anchor Cat?
Is any of that even remotely possible?
Most often, no.
Austin.
Okay, no.
Austin.
No, it's impossible. You cannot throw a rope around the sun and lasso it and bring it closer to the earth to melt everything on it. Anchor Cat, I wrote this screenplay and I think it's really good. It's a superhero movie, and in it, one of the super villains tries to lasso the sun and bring it closer to the earth to melt everything. So not only does the protagonist have to stop that, she actually also has to then push the sun back into place, but she can't find her thermonuclear oven mitts, right? And she has to wrap her hands in like millions of like dish towels or whatever, which Honestly, I think it would look really cool with special effects stuff to see her like wrap her hands. And
Austin, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but as exciting as that film sounds, and as much as I'd watch it, hell, maybe even convince my big-time Hollywood hotshot producer friends to finance it, we could talk about that after the broadcast. We have to stick to only fact and reality-based reporting here at KPBC News, Austin, and I hope you remember that in the future.
I sure will.
Good. In our next...
Me in a cat mask, wearing a different suit, shot against the same green screen about a month and a half ago that I'm standing in front of right now, meaning that literally we wouldn't even be in the same studio if we weren't actually the same exact person.
Touché, mon ami. Touché. We'll be right back with more news after these brief messages. Next time on Heard It Through the Bovine.
Yes, and what I find best about it is you also, you'll feel a little more loose afterwards, if you know what I mean. A little more clear and above things,
I judge this to be a very good idea.
Still to come this season on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You all set, man? What for?
Yeah, what for, dude?
Civil War 2, fam.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what, dude? Oh, we're headed for a second hot Civil War, guys. Don't you know? Why?
Yeah, why, dude?
Because they arrested him. They actually arrested him.
Which guy?
Yeah, which guy, dude? The elderly daughter-lusting, rapist, convicted conman, and former reality TV game show host that I love dearly. That's who.
Oh.
Yeah, it's coming, guys. You gotta pick sides, and clearly you know where I'm gonna go.
All because they arrested an elderly daughter-lusting rapist, convicted conman, and former reality TV game show host and had evidence of his crimes?
Yeah, wouldn't they arrest anyone they had all that evidence on, man?
Probably, yeah.
So at the end of the day, you want to go murder your fellow Americans because they treated an elderly daughter-lusting rapist, convicted conman, and a former reality TV game show host like they were literally anyone else who did the same things he did?
No, that's not why. Well, it's actually not the whole reason why.
So, what is?
They hurt an elderly, daughterly-lusting rapist, convicted conman, and former reality TV game show host feelings and bruised his ego. And that's just fucked up. How could they hurt a beautiful, alternatively tan, rich man like that? Know what I mean, guys? Guys? Okay, I guess I'll have to join the militia by myself then.
Hey, it's a subjective thing, okay? I get that. But in my opinions are better than most every opinion out there. And I gotta say, for my money, a quesadilla is going to get you to paradise a lot quicker than a ham sandwich. But hey, you do you, Mr. Smart Guy.
Over the past 32 historic seasons, they've taken viewers on an incredible journey of self-discovery, self-awareness, self-care, self-help, and self-cleaning ovens. But after their next episode, their lives may never be the same again. He's leaving. And where he's going, he can't take the other two with him. But who is he? You'll have to find out with everyone else this Thursday on a special 3-hour edition of Dude Fuckin'.
Dude. Fucking. Dude. Fucking.
Dude Fuckin'. Thursdays at 5:46 p.m. Only on Real TV.
Looking to book a boat tour of one of Port North Star, Idaho's gorgeous bodies of water? Of course you are! It's probably why you came to this godforsaken hellhole. Well, that and our extremely loose interpretation of our state's anti-cocaine and coffee laws, of course. Hell, you'd be a right fool if you didn't take a tour of one of our bodies of water before you went to Brew and Blow for your morning fix. While we're at it, who said you even need a boat to take a boat tour? We certainly didn't, and that's why we don't own any boats. Not a rowboat, not a dinghy, not even a toy boat. We literally do not own any boats at all. But don't let that stop you from booking one of our many tours that do not leave every hour on the hour. If you don't think a boat tour company that doesn't own any boats can't give you a darned good tour of one of Idaho's gorgeous bodies of water, then you're going to have to explain to our kids why we've been in business for 6 whole months and have at least 20% of our initial funding capital left, aren't you? Call us right now from your cabin phone at no charge. Billy's No Boat Boat Tours. No boats, no butts. Call us today and book your tour. 1-555 No Boats. At Terrible Wines Winery, of course we think our wines are god-awful swill. But we understand if you're a little skeptical. So don't take our word for it. Listen to this testimonial from someone we absolutely did not pay off to give us their opinion of our shitty wines. Their wines are so bad, one time I vomited just from sniffing the cork. I have no idea why we keep coming back here and why we joined their wine club because, yeah, their wines are really, really terrible. It's almost like they put something in their wines that make them addictive, even though they're just absolutely terrible wines.
Terrible Wines Winery. We don't put drugs in our wines to keep you coming back. But maybe we should.
Every combo comes with a 42-ounce soda where most of it is the soda and not very much ice, and you're kind of like, what was the goddamn point of that? This is kind of gross. The a-hole. We don't care about you. You don't care about us.
Do you love guns? No, like, do you really love guns? Like, would you fuck a gun? Literally lube it up and fuck it, especially if Dan Bungholio told you to, because that's how you would make little baby guns? Do you love guns so much that you don't care how many kids die as long as it's always super duper easy to buy guns? Then congratulations! You're an immature, fucked up sociopath and need deep psychological help. But the good news is you live in a country where some politicians will coddle your feelings and tell your dumbass you're right. We are those politicians. Paid for by the RNC. On this week's Political Roundtable, 3 rich, middle-aged men will discuss the pros and cons of giving poor people, women, poor women, or any non-rich, non-conservative man a say in how things are run around here. You can't miss it. No, really, Chemtech insists that you watch this programming, and therefore, it will preempt every other show on every other network in the Quad Corner state area. This Saturday and Sunday morning at 4:35 a.m. here on KPBC News. Welcome back. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich knows a thing or two about prosecuting presidents. In the late 1990s, Gingrich unsuccessfully led an impeachment effort against former President Bill Clinton for lying under oath. Today on Fox News, Gingrich blasted special counsel Jack Smith for bringing dozens of charges and 3 indictments against former President Trump for stealing national secrets and attempting to steal the presidency. In the interview, Gingrich insisted that Smith will, quote, never be able to clear the bar, unquote, that every prosecution of a president must get over. Namely, Gingrich says that he has no evidence that someone was blowing Donald Trump in the Oval Office on January 6th or after the election, and that Ivanka Trump and Ted Cruz don't count because Ivanka needed her allowance, and nobody cares what happens to Ted Cruz, not even his own wife. Let's bring on our political analyst Robert Bobertson to talk to him about Gingrich's claims. Robert, thanks for coming on. My pleasure, Anchor Cat.
Robert, did anything that Gingrich said ring true? Was there any validity to it at all?
This is going to surprise a lot of viewers, but yes, actually, something he said was completely and totally true, which marks the first time Gingrich has opened his mouth for anything other than shoving a rich fascist donor's dong and or another stack of flapjacks in there.
That is quite shocking, Robert, given how much Gingrich loves to say things that aren't true.
Most definitely.
So what is it that he said that's actually true? Is it right that Jack Smith has to prove someone other than Ivanka or Ted Cruz was mouthing Trump off on January 6th?
Oh God, no, Anchor Cat. It's that nobody likes Ted Cruz or cares about him.
Yeah, that makes sense, Robert. Thanks for coming on. Heading back to the nation's capital now, blaming things on Antifa has become a rite of passage for most pro-MAGA Republican politicians. Today, one of the Freedom Caucus's leaders announced that he was opening a congressional investigation into Antifa. Jim Jordan told reporters today that he blames Antifa for his wife thinking he has a tiny dick, and he plans to find out who told Antifa and why Antifa went and told his wife. We'll bring you reaction from Jordan's wife's boyfriend in our next broadcast.
Next, Trump supporters looking to take a vacation or even expatriate may want to pay attention to this story. According to several reports, the Trump campaign has worked with the nation of Guyana and leased thousands of acres of land, which they said they will open up to any Trump voter who wants to join the former president there, should he need to leave the country for any reason at all in the next several months. Those that join Trump in Guyana will be treated to a free Trump punch mixer upon arrival.
It's time again for a quick look at how the markets are doing today. Where are the numbers, Billy? Aha. Okay, my producer Billy is telling me that Asshole Pete, our station's IT guy who just so happens to be the station's owner's brother, decided it would be a hilarious prank to connect our stock ticker computers to an old ColecoVision. So instead of stock prices to show you, all we have is this footage of someone, probably Asshole Pete, playing Burger Time. We do apologize for the inconvenience, and believe me, all of us here wish that we could fire Asshole Pete, but nepotism is as American as apple pie and racism. So, like our weird Jesus dork cousins in the Bible Belt, we're stuck with him. In a surprising and stunning turn of events, an unexpected discovery has been made. At a press conference earlier this morning, Ben Shapiro announced that his wife's clitoris has finally been located, and he thanked his wife's boyfriend for texting him about finding it while Shapiro was watching the Barbie movie for the 50th time for research purposes only. We'll have an interview with the father of Shapiro's children in our 10 o'clock broadcast. And finally, today is National Cuss Word Day, you motherfuckers. So I hope you and your goddamn shit-ass bastard dickhole loved ones celebrated as best you cocksucking could. We'll bring you highlights from the 35th Annual Cussathon Festival put on every year by the NCW this weekend. And that's going to wrap it up for this broadcast. For all of us here at KPBC News, this is Anchor Cat. Thanks for fucking watching, everyone.